But what's the general rule for tapering? Because I feel like we have the tapers like down pat, like the last week of training. In saying that, I'm hoping that you're with a coach and that you've done all the right preparation up to that, because so many age groupers want to go flat out race week. That is not the time to test yourself.
I would say the biggest thing to think about on race week is not leaving your race in your training. Like, taper week is not the time to get out there, you know, because you're out riding on the course and
you feel
there's
fast,
other people
you got your
out
race
there.
wheels on.
Yeah, and like hammering. Like, don't do that.
Welcome to the Beck and Siri Show.
And here at Team Sirius Tri Club, it's not just about swim, bike, run. It's about who you become. On our show, we don't just talk to you about swimming, cycling and running.
We talk about mindset. We talk about fearless authenticity and being your very best self.
Hi there, Cam here from Team Sirius. This week on the show, Beck and Siri take us through the benefits of the Team Sirius swim block and also the Team Sirius taper plan. And they also answer member Q&A. And don't forget, if you want to join these chats live, you can actually join up to the club for free for a month at the moment till the end of September. So the link is in the show notes, or you can go to teamsiriustriclub.com.
Welcome to the live chat.
Let's do some congratulations. And firstly, Mel, congratulations on Neil King.
Amazing.
He absolutely kicked ass. I know he did a 30-minute PR on the bike and ran like a 1:33, I think, in Mooloolaba. So it's just amazing. And as Siri said, it's not about winning, but for improvement, that much of improvement is incredible.
Amazing.
So, congratulations
to both
also
of you.
Congratulations to Jillian. Maddie's athlete went 11 minutes faster in her sprint, which is amazing, and won her age group.
Boom!
11 minutes
Absolutely
in a sprint.
freaking awesome.
It's insane. And we got Becky on and Mel on and Chris on and Nick. Hey guys. Yvonne's athletes all did PRs, including her husband Per, who went 8 hours in his Ironman. Caroline Marie, Andrea Chino, and Per all had PRs, and then her athlete Janine got a flat tire but was on track with a 5-minute PR swim, and she's about to ride like about a 450. So she flatted and she still finished. She
awesome.
did amazing.
Absolutely awesome.
Oh, Jillian's on right now. We just congratulated you, Jillian, on your sprint
race. We just
race.
said how amazing, an 11+ minute
PR in a sprint.
Amazing.
I'd be stoked with an 11 PR in an Ironman, let alone a sprint.
So congratulations to everyone who raced, everyone who train this week. I mean, I want to celebrate all the victories, whether it means getting on the podium or having a PB in a race, or a victory of doing something for the first time, doing something you've never done before, going faster than you did, or being tougher than you ever were before. Celebrate all the victories. That's how we build momentum, guys.
And talking about victories, we did get pipped on the line, but our group got second overall at 25 clubs for the swim challenge, and they're doing a third one, and we're leading that.
Yeah.
Boom, Team Sirius.
Oh, that is awesome.
On fire.
Hi, Patrice. Hi,
now,
Susie.
while Siri's saying hi, I'm going to go in because we did have some questions from some members here. So let's have.
And there's Neil. Neil, we were just talking about you, saying how awesome you raced this weekend. Congratulations. You and Mel make such an amazing team, and we're just so proud of you both. So awesome job out there. Let's hear how it was to race, you guys. Those of you that did get out there and were able to race, how was it? You know, I bet there was I can only imagine that the atmosphere was one of deep gratitude, of just being able to be out there and to have a race to race, and to be able to have that camaraderie and the excitement and the inspiration. But hopefully that really helped fuel the fire as well.
Oh my God, this is a huge breakthrough. This needs to be like a testimony. Susie, okay, you guys remember about a month ago, Susie,
Yes.
let me tell them how long ago it was. I can't remember, but it's about a month ago. Couldn't even swim. I think she could just make one lap. She just swam 48 minutes non-stop.
Whoa.
Oh my God, that's insane.
5 weeks of training. That is amazing. Congratulations. That is freaking
I need a wine.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Absolutely
Susie, you got to tell us
amazing.
how good that feels. Like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Unbelievable. And I want to say I ran 5K
more
continuous.
3.4 miles.
3.4 miles with my wife, who was kind enough to jog with me very, very slowly.
It was actually really good for me. It's always good to go very easy sometimes, and it still wasn't that easy because I have very bad plantar fasciitis right now, and thank God to our trigger gun, because I could barely walk most mornings, and it was great to go.
It was, and every single moment was pure bliss. And this is where, it made me think. I used to always worry about what pace I was holding, and I wouldn't be happy unless I was holding a pace that I thought was good enough. But now, I'm running like 11-minute 30 to 12-minute miles, but it's pure bliss because I'm just doing what I love. And it's not about how fast I go or how quick I get around, a certain distance. It's about being alive and moving and having the energy to run 3.4 miles and to spend that time with my wife. It's an absolute gift. We get to swim, bike, and run. We get to be fit. We get to work hard. We get to do these things. It's a gift, and it's something to celebrate every single day.
Unreal. And Susie just said she's signing up for her first triathlon this weekend. So let us know where it is so we can tune in and just cheer for you and think of you. That is so cool. I'm surprised there's a triathlon on, but I'm glad that they're bringing them back.
That is awesome. Yep. Absolutely awesome.
Yep. And, okay, so we have a quick question. So keep them coming if you have some more questions, you guys. But right now, Mike, I'm glad Mel Mitchell really chimed in and answered all his questions about a certain session. And sometimes we just assume that people understand our terminology. And I remember Susie had the same thing starting our swim. Some people might not even know that the pool length can be 25 meters or 25 yards or 50 meters or 50. Oh, there's no such thing as 50 yards, but 50 meters. So that's just things that we assume. So we definitely need to come back to that beginner mindset sometimes. So thank you, Mel, for helping Mike explain that. But Mike is asking, what about the swim block? What's it like? So Siri created this, and I just looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. It's pretty tough, but it's amazing. It's a 4-week swim block, and Siri's going to explain a little bit more. But you are asking a watch or no watch. You do not wear a watch while you swim because it's like wearing a TV on your wrist, and it ruins everything, and you just shouldn't be wearing one when you swim. You don't see Michael Phelps wearing one or any good swimmers. Use a clock. Have a stopwatch on your water bottle. I tie it around my water bottle. I tape it to my water bottle, or have it sitting up against my water bottle and have it on stopwatch, and that's your watch. And you were asking about counting. How do you keep count? You count like a swimmer. You've got to change your mindset to be a swimmer when you're swimming, and work and train and think like a swimmer. That will help you become a better swimmer too, because it's all about mindset. So you need to think like a swimmer thinks. So you need to look at the pace, look at the clock, know what you're coming in on, know what you got to leave on, know what 2-minute cycle means, know what time you come in per 100. Like, you have to understand and start swimming like a swimmer and thinking like a swimmer.
But maybe the thing is, how do we learn to think like a swimmer? So basically, how do you count, each length and this may be real beginner, but one length is 25 meters, 2 lengths is 50 meters, 3 lengths is 75, 4 lengths is 100. If you are going to swim a 400, that's 16 lengths. So what you would do is each length, you'd say, okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is, I know, but some people don't.
Okay.
And this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and you keep count. As a swimmer, you have to keep count because you are in charge of knowing how far you've gone and following the clock. You're always going, like Beck says, you have the stopwatch or you have the clock on the wall that shows the second hand. And if your interval says 10:50s on 1 minute, that means that every time the clock hits 1 minute, you are leaving again for that next effort.
It doesn't mean you take a minute rest, but I think for new swimmers, that's going to be obviously way too fast. But if Siri's giving us a set, we'd do 10:50s warm up on a minute, and we know we're leaving every minute. But it doesn't mean you take a minute rest. So you've got to understand like how to read the program. That's why we're here to help you. So thank you for explaining that, Siri. So yeah, one thing would be learn to count. Don't wear a Garmin because your Garmin is always off anyway, and it's like wearing like
it's going to mess with your rhythm too.
Yeah, it's like wearing a TV on your on your wrist. And then towel strength. We did explain that in the swim block. All it is you tie a towel around your ankles for strength. And if you haven't been swimming that long, then I would say using an Eni buoy, because you said you had that option, would be a better option to start with. So get an Eni buoy. And use that with a band to start with. And then when you want to start getting stronger, you can start putting water in the Eni buoy as well. And that can make it a little bit harder. And then by the second or third week, you might want to fill the whole half side of the Eni buoy with water and use a band. But always use a band too, just to keep you more still. And you can use a band kind of like that too.
And with the towel, you're not actually wrapping the towel around your ankles. You're wrapping the towel around the band, okay? Mm-hmm. So you tie the towel, you make it wet, tie the towel around the band and put the band around your ankles, and then you've got all this extra weight to pull. It's going to help build your strength. It's just so incredibly good for you. But start easy. Well, it's not easy, but start with just maybe 4 25s band towel and see how that goes, and then
It's
build
really
up.
hard if you've got not a great position, you're not used to swimming. So I would say if you're really new to this or a new swimmer and haven't done any band only work, like hopefully you've been following our program. So you've done some band only, you know about getting your body position good, eyes down, feet up, and fast stroke rate, and then move to the band only. After you move to the band only, try pool buoy full of water with a band, and then go to the band and towel with no buoy. Or go band towel with a buoy, and then try
Band towel with a
band
buoy.
towel without a buoy, and that's going to be really hard. Like I could barely do more. Like 400 for me was a real struggle with band towel. So
Yeah.
you always want to start with just 25.
Band towel with the buoy, and Mel Mitchell is asking what size towel. You can
Mel,
start.
you'd be using a full beach towel. You would.
You can
But-
start with a smaller towel,
Like a tea
and
towel
obviously
size,
it's the level of how strong you are. Start with a small tea towel and build up to like a proper, bath towel. So depending on how strong you are, but start with a small dish towel, and that should be perfect.
Yep.
Hope
exactly.
that helps,
And the Eenie
guys.
buoy is a great way to do it too, and it still keeps you a little buoyant. So I would start with the Eenie buoy if you can start with something, or start with the pool buoy at least to start with before you try doing just a towel and band. Although Siri used to just throw Mary Carmen in and tell her to do it without any practice.
And she did. And
It's the way
she
to
did a
do
great
it.
job. Yeah.
And now she's going to do it. So I'm going to quickly go through just 1 week of the swim block for you guys, because a lot of people have asked about this. So when Siri wrote this, it isn't just swimming, because she has added in, spiced up with a little bit of biking and running as well, because of course you want to maintain that. So you want to do 1 or 2 of those as well. So for example, week 1, the first swim. Now some of the swims are based on time. So he was also asking about what if you're only 45 minutes. I would like cut the warm up in half and cut the warm down to like 100 easy. That's it. Just do 100 easy warm down to get rid of your lactate. And just always try and get the main set in, the main chunk of the workout, because that's your key there.
Yeah. Or whatever you need more work with. Like if you're not very good at pull buoy band swimming and you only have 45 minutes, don't cut out the pull buoy band set. Make sure that that is the set that you definitely get done.
Yeah. So like the first week of the swim block, for example, it's pretty tough. It's like a 3K swim with the 20/50s, 1 hard, 1 easy. On first one's on 10 seconds rest, and the second one's on 20. So then Tuesday would be a fartlek run, so you're adding a bit of spice for the run. Swim towel strength on Tuesday night, 3K. Wednesday is an hour bike strength session, which is just beautiful because she's adding in a little bit of fartlek for the run, keep that spice in it, and then a bit of strength on the bike. Then the swim 25s after, because the 25s shouldn't really be an overly high intensity, high aerobic session. It sounds crazy, but it actually isn't necessarily, is it? Because you get more rest. But if you're new to it, it could be quite hard. So
Yeah, I think it's pretty darn hard.
I love it. I don't find
really?
it hard at all.
Yeah.
I loved it. Seriously, give them 100 of them. I love doing it. It got your stroke rate up. But yeah, so 25s after that, you could usually do the swim second because you're recovering your legs. And then Thursdays, another 200 set, great 200 set. 3.5K swim with an easy optional run with hills for strength. So you've done fartlek and strength, and you've done strength on the bike. Friday's a day off. Tuesday's a bike with a little bit of spice, just more aerobic. Sunday long run, and then 6 300 sets. So this is amazing just for week 1, 3K swim. So the 4 swims in the first week, and that's very normal for most top age group athletes or full-time pros. We would do at least, maybe even 7, maybe 9 swims. So we used to do 10, but 4 swims would be for a swim block. You want to be doing like at least 4 in your first week. So that's kind of how it goes. And I would just do the core 45 minutes.
And if you're someone who just started swimming like Susie, in the beginning of your swim block, we told you just do what you can on each day. And now she's up to 45 minutes straight of swimming, which is absolutely incredible. But take this and adjust it to your level. Challenge yourself to go beyond what you think you can, but also don't do too much where you're in the pool for 4 hours trying to get a 3K swim set done.
Yeah.
So that's something we can help you with if you have questions with that. But Susie, you did an amazing job of just building up at your pace, and that was awesome.
So Mike just got on late and we just answered his question. So I'm sorry, Mikey, you're going to have to rewind it and listen again so we don't go over it again. But we did just answer all of your questions about the towel, about what the key part of the 45-minute session you should be doing and all of that. And I went over a couple of the workouts. So just do a little rewind when you're
And most importantly, embrace the swim block, guys. If you're not someone who loves swimming, don't dread going to the pool every day. Understand that this is going to empower you. This is going to make you a better swimmer. This is going to make you even fitter for the bike and the run. Like, this swim block is such a gift. I have seen it over my 20 years of coaching. lead to athletes making such tremendous progress. Every single world champion I've ever coached has gone through at least one, usually 2 to 3 swim blocks a year.
And even the swimmers.
And the swimmers. Leanda Cave, I put through a swim block.
Okay, explain
Jody
why.
Swallow.
Explain why, because I know why, but a lot of us that have athletes that call themselves swimmers, and they say, well, I don't want to do a swim block. Swim's my strength. I don't need to focus on that. I totally disagree, and I want you to explain why, because one of the coaches just said that to us the other day.
So number one, if the swim is your strength, I want it to be even more of a weapon. Like Leanda Cave was an amazing swimmer, but I didn't want her to just be in the front pack. I wanted her to be able to break away from the front pack. I wanted her to be able to swim a race in the front pack with very little effort because she was swimming that well. So we want it to be your weapon. We want to take advantage of that. But more importantly, for me, the reason why I do it is that it makes you so incredibly fit without the pounding, without the risk of injuring, by doing too much biking or too much running. It makes you so fit, and that fitness translates to the bike and the run.
Yep.
While also, it's training your mental toughness. It's training your mindset. There are so many things you can do during the swim that don't just help your swim, but help every aspect of what racing and becoming your very best self is all about.
I agree, and I think 2 things I would add was that, I don't know if you've mentioned this, but one that we always used to say was that the fitter you are in the swim, and you can always improve your fitness no matter how good a freaking swimmer you are. Like Leander went to a new level. She'd get on the bike and she'd be gone. Like off the front, because and for me too, my fitness on the bike was so much better because I came out of the swim way less exhausted.
Yes.
So even if she didn't necessarily have to break away in the swim, she could just sit there. She's sitting there at a way lower heart rate because she's so aerobically fit. She gets on the bike and she just go. So that's another one. And then the other one, what was I going to say for the second one? Or I can't quite remember.
And you may be a great swimmer, but not a great open water swimmer. Yep. And you don't have to swim open water to become a great open water swimmer. We do things when we have camps or when I have all my athletes in town where we are mimicking what it feels like to be in the open water in a race. Having 4 people in one lane side by side swimming against each other and creating that same kind of like nervousness and panic.
I did not like that.
Accelerating in and out of the flip turn to simulate in a race, accelerating into the buoy and accelerating out of the buoy. So be creative. Use your mind to try and mimic what you're going to get in a race in the pool.
And a lot of our sessions with the fartlek and the deep water starts all do that. One thing I was going to say, Siri, and I've said this before, and most people know this, but I'll reiterate it, is that your heart and lungs that work for you have no idea what exercise you're doing. They just know that your heart's getting fitter and stronger and you're doing some sort of cardiovascular workout. So people freak out, if I can't run for 2 weeks, I'm going to lose all my run fitness. That's BS, because your cardio conditioning, if you're doing our swims or Siri puts you on a swim block and you do no running for even 8 weeks, like you may lose the feel and you may lose that
for a
that
couple
muscular kind of endurance because you're not getting the weight bearing, but your cardiovascular fitness is not going to lose. You're not going to lose any in 2 weeks, maybe not any in 4, but in 8 weeks you may lose a tiny bit, but it's more the feel and the weight bearing that you're going to lose. You're not going to lose cardiovascular fitness because your heart doesn't know what exercise you're doing. So when we had our girls that were on, some of them are on here, are doing their 21 sessions in a row, 21 days nonstop. Those workouts can be done on any piece of equipment. It doesn't matter. It's all about what your heart rate's doing. So you're working your strength in the swim. You can do that with equipment. You're working speed. You're working endurance. You're working speed endurance. You're working threshold. You're working lactate threshold. You're working everything. And that is working your whole aerobic engine across all 3 disciplines.
And so it doesn't matter what machine. That's thank you so much for bringing that up, Beck. That's so incredibly important. And what you find often is that after the swim block, people are biking and running better than they ever have. And I think that that's because you've not only kept your aerobic fitness and worked every single aspect of physical training, but you've missed, being able to bike as much as you want or being able to run as much as you want. And you're so excited to be back at it and you have that fitness to support that enthusiasm. And it leads to you just biking and running even better than before. And I'm sure a lot of my athletes, if they're on here, can attest to that.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, now Susie has a question, Siri. Can you explain why pool and open water is so different? Is it mostly psychological? That's a great question, but...
That's a great question. Well, just think about it. I mean, you no longer will have 2 lane ropes on either side of you, you're in a big open, body of water. And not just that, but you've got, 100 other people up against you. The gun goes off, you're all taking off and swimming, and you've got people climbing around you. Like this is the reality of a swim start. It's
physical and mentally different.
Physically and mentally different.
For that.
We train you as much as we can to perfect, as far as preparing you for that big, huge body of open water. That's something that, you do need to do some open water swimming just to get used to being out there without lane ropes. But everything else, we can simulate the nervousness, the anxiety.
Okay, let's give some examples. So I'll give an example for sighting. So you can practice sighting, and I don't often include that, but in the warm-up you should do it, where you're like lifting your head up to look and you're still breathing. So when we practice sighting, you lift and you just lift 2 eyes up, but you incorporate it into your breath. You don't try and lift and breathe. A lot of people have trouble with sighting because they try and breathe to the front. You shouldn't change the rhythm. You literally put your head up and still breathe to the side. So that's one way you can practice in the pool. Siri, what about anxiety? We've got lots of sessions we help.
What I do, and if you could just get a few of your friends to come along and do this with you, line up,
throw your pool boy at their head and dunk them at the same time.
No. But nice try. But put like 2 or 3 people in one lane.
We used to have 4.
Okay.
Come on, don't be soft now.
I know.
I hated it.
Okay.
I'd hate it because I always whack my finger on the lane rope and I always break it. And one day I hit Mary Beth Ellis so loud, I remember she stood up and screamed. And so that's the only reason I hated it.
I know, but it was very race-like.
It's terrifying.
2 to 4 people in one lane. And what we would do is we would do 5 minutes worth of treading water, even if you're in the shallow end. You start by all 4 of you or 3 of you are treading water. And I yell go, and you sprint for 15 meters, as hard as you can go, 15 meters, and you've got people on either side of you. And then you stop, and you're not allowed to touch the ground, so you're still treading water.
You're sculling.
Turn around the other way, and you come back 15 meters, as hard as you can go, with people on each side. And then I'd have people switch positions so that you're
in the middle or on the side.
Sometimes you're on the side,
and
sometimes
you
you're in the middle.
Like you just have to deal with it.
And it's very nerve-wracking. You can ask Mary Carmen. She used to hate this, but she got really good at it because you get used to having people beside you and having to kind of, get into a rhythm with the person beside you and the sighting. So that's probably the best way to do it.
Practicing drafting.
Sitting
on feet, practicing the fart leg stuff that we give you, which we love. I'll tell you what it is. So usually we do 1,000 to 2,000 meters, and it's 25 fast, 75 easy, 50 fast, 50 easy, 25 fast, 75 easy, 100 fast, 100 easy, or changing pace if it's a warm up tempo, and that is like, especially in packs when you're trying to get around the buoy or get on quicker feet or jump to another pack or a quicker swimmer comes past. Like that fart leg stuff is so good for your swim.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also, I am one to love, if you're going to race an Olympic distance triathlon in a month, I'll say, okay, 1,500 meter time trial.
No warm up,
You're actually right. I'd be more
2K.
likely to say 2K time trial to make it longer than what you're going to do in a race, so that when you accomplish that, and you're at race pace for 2,000 meters, you're going to think, well, of course I can do 1,500 meters. I just did 2,000 meters the other day.
Ellie Salthouse used to love that. And I used to give Siri the bird when she gave us that. I hated it because I always wanted to warm up. I was getting older and I needed warming up.
Susie's asking what's drafting.
That's great because you know what? This is great to know because we just assume people know what drafting is. So tell them, Siri, what drafting is.
So drafting is...
I love that she doesn't know because it means she's not willing to cheat in the race.
Yeah,
so that's good.
amazing.
It's good that you don't know. It's really good.
So drafting, Susie, means, okay, when
for the swim,
when you get on someone's feet and you stay as close to their feet, I used to always say to my guys, nibble on their toenails. That's how close you want to get because you will literally be pulled along. And you'll swim.
Same as on the bike.
You'll swim quicker with less effort.
You're honestly like this, Susie. Like you're literally, your hand should be touching their foot. And it annoys people. But you will save... I remember on the bike they did tests on this, and it was 30 to 40% on the bike that you're saving in energy. And I didn't even know as a junior. I just used to lead because I had no idea that it would save energy. But on the swim, it's probably the same. You're probably saving 30, 40% energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's huge, and it's a huge advantage. But you can draft anywhere. So if you're in a group of like 5 people, I used to always
We're talking about the swim, right?
Yes.
Because you cannot draft on the bike.
you can't draft on the bike. We're talking about swimming
Which is
only.
just weird, really. That they
But
do
there's
that.
a sweet spot. I used to always try, and I would have my best swims if I got two people that were swimming faster than
And
me.
right up there,
And
right?
they were side by side, and I'd go right in the
there,
middle
it's
between
the best.
them.
It's hard to get there, though.
I felt like I was just being like water skiing, like being dragged by a boat. That's how much it helped you. But you can also, no matter where you are, if you get as close to a quicker swimmer, whether it's on their hip or on their shoulder, on their hip,
The
or
hip's
on their
almost
feet.
better because sometimes people who kick a lot, which I do, you get the bubbles and you don't see that well. So the hip is better, but whatever
Yeah.
you can get.
So as close as you can get to a quicker swimmer, you're going to get an advantage where it's going to be a lot easier to swim faster.
I agree with Mel though. Like I know Siri says nibble on their toes, but I freaking hate
don't
it.
touch them.
Don't
Yeah.
touch people's feet because it pisses people
Yeah.
off. And like if
you'll slow them
and if you
down.
want to draft, ask the person if they mind because there's nothing more.
Well, you can't. They're in the water.
No, when you're training and practicing,
okay.
like if you're in a pool and you're sitting up someone's butt and they're a swimmer, swimmers hate this. I hated it unless I was trying to help someone. I said, just jump on my feet. Like be courteous because there's nothing. It'd be like someone running behind you like a shadow. It'd be like, what the freaking hell are you doing? Or on the bike, people used to jump on Rennie's wheel all the time, and Siri would say, Siri would be really nice, but Rennie would say, I don't remember inviting you for my bike workout. But it's just dangerous because if Rennie hit a rock and then he hit the rock and took her wheel out, like we get and Ellie same thing. Siri would always put their window down. So I'm really sorry, but my athletes are training, they're professional athletes. Would you mind getting off their wheel because this is dangerous? Like we didn't invite you to this training session. So
Exactly.
anyway,
Just to finish up on the swim, though, guys, Mel's saying don't touch the person's feet. Get as close as you can. But the more, if you're tapping them and hitting them, you're actually going to slow them down and you're both
Yeah.
going to swim
And they
badly.
get pissed,
So
yeah.
that doesn't help. So you get as close as you can to get that draft. Again, you can get it on the shoulder, on the hip, or on their feet, or you can get between
the two people,
and
yeah.
a bit behind.
Yep.
But drafting will help you immensely. But again, like Beck says, no drafting on the bike unless you're racing World Cup races, which is absolutely drafting on the bike. But do not draft on the bike. It takes away from all the joy and fulfillment of giving your best effort because it's just not fair when you do that.
Yep. All right. So taper week for any race, like pretty much the last week before a race, I did almost exactly the same. No matter really what distance I was doing, although if it was an Ironman, I wouldn't go as hard in the efforts or as long, but it's short sprint efforts if it was a short race. But Sarah, you're probably better to answer this. I could do the Ironman taper, but what's the general rule for tapering? Because I feel like we have the tapers like down pat, like the last week of training. In saying that, I'm hoping that you're with a coach and that you've done all the right preparation up to that, because so many age groupers want to go flat out race week. That is not the time to test yourself. So let's give him a quick example of taper
I would
week.
say the biggest thing to think about on race week is not leaving your race in your training. Like taper week is not the time to get out there, you know,
And test yourself.
because you're out riding on the course and
You feel
there's
fast,
other
you
people
got your
out
race
there.
wheels on.
Yeah, and like hammering. Like don't do that. It's not
The work's
okay.
done.
It's gonna ruin you for your race. So if you have our taper plan, I would just buy our taper plan and do it exactly as it's written. You just don't want to leave everything you have for the race on the race course before race day. So it's sharpening. We do little bits on a Tuesday. If it's a Sunday race, we do short intervals. They're not flat out. It's just more like, hey, you know, I want to feel good. I want to feel my fitness. I want to feel my strength. I want to get excited. I want to visualize, you know, flowing in the race and having an amazing day. Short bursts of effort, and that's it.
So you're talking about Sunday run or Saturday bike? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tuesday's session before Sunday race.
I thought you said the weekend.
Yeah. So, and then the weekend before is always shorter. So usually our weekends are a long bike and a long run or something similar. But before a race, that is going to be much shorter. My pros will do maximum of a 3 hour
hours,
long
easy
ride
with
on
strength.
Saturday. And that's a maximum.
With
and
no efforts. We just do sometimes 6x5. Big
just
gear.
easy aerobic.
Big gear strength or something.
Big gear strength, totally aerobic. And then Sunday, our long run is never more than 1 hour going into
sometimes sprinkle
race
in
week.
some turnovers.
Not on a Sunday.
Okay.
No.
That's right. It's been
We
so
always
long,
have a day
I forget.
off. So if it's a Sunday race, Monday will be a day off because we want you to start the week rested. Start the week. If you're not rested by Monday or Tuesday, then you need to give yourself a day off on Wednesday.
And
Or
it sucks having a day off Wednesday, Thursday. I feel like it's too late. You're so anxious by then. You want to do something.
yeah. So Monday day off is, and if your race is on a Saturday, then Sunday would be off. Monday would be your pre-race brick where you're throwing in some, it's short, like 4 by 5 minutes on the bike. And it's just a solid, controlled race effort.
So
4 by 5
explain the
minutes.
race effort though, because the race effort is relative to the distance of the race
Yes.
that they're racing on the weekend. So if you're doing an Olympic or a sprint, you do that effort. So you do your sprint pace effort. And if you're doing Ironman, it'd be that paced effort, no faster.
No faster.
Yeah.
No faster. And that's where I'm saying don't get excited and be like, oh, I'm just going to crush this 5-minute effort, because
No.
it's just too much for race week. We're going to keep you sharp. We're going to have you do some efforts, but they're going to be short. There's going to be nothing long that week. And just prepare yourself by getting, the best sleep that you can get.
And you reduce
eating
the week
well,
load to
staying
30%.
hydrated.
You reduce usually that week to like at least, 25% of what you've normally been doing. Like an easy aerobic ride, no more than 2 hours. Little bit of fartlek running on the Thursday and open water swim Thursday and Friday. And then just like honestly just pickups and stuff and like barely anything Friday and Saturday before a Sunday race. But keep moving. Always keep moving. I used to feel better when I did it a little bit more. Like I'd ride for an hour the day before with a couple of pickups and I'd do some turnovers on the run. If I could find a treadmill, I'd do it on the treadmill. I always felt better doing that. But do a few little pickups, but nothing crazy. No more than like 5 minutes worth of pickups or something like that on the run. So
It's all about just maintaining
Feeling
feel,
good.
filling up your physical reservoir of energy and also your mental reservoir of energy. So, because if you're pushing hard all week leading into a race, you're not going to have enough mental energy to get through those tough moments in the race. So really, taper week is all about strengthening, rejuvenating, maintaining your feel, and getting excited to celebrate your fitness on the weekend.
Yep, and don't be surprised if you feel crappy, because usually your body after a Monday day off and then Tuesday not doing a lot and then Wednesday you're reducing, you're like Wednesday, Thursday, you're like, oh God, I feel kind of crap. Like you feel yucky, and that's
Trust
normal. And then Friday, Saturday, you'll start to feel a little bit better. Even sometimes on Saturday, you may not feel great, but usually if you've done the right taper, you will feel $1,000,000 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like you should. And most of our athletes do, like 99% of the time. So.
And I have to say, some people feel great taper week and race great. Some people feel crappy, like you feel crappy taper
Usually
week
till like Thursday,
and race great. So how you feel means nothing.
It means nothing.
It means nothing.
You never know
trust
how you're
in the
gonna feel the next
plan.
day.
Trust in the fact that we have been doing this for 20 plus years and have had incredible results. Jillian, I read your comment go by where you did our taper and you felt great. So that's awesome to hear.
And Michael's doing Kansas. Oh, Kansas next weekend. Oh, I love that race. I remember winning that a while back. So he's just doing that taper. So there's a good taper for your Mike. If you just stick to that and nothing more. And there's a taper
great.
week in our training tilt for free. There's a PDF in there. It's a taper week that's free. So go in there and do the taper week. It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yep.
And Dan's talking about the taper crazies. Now, if this is what you're talking about, Dan, having coached professional athletes for
Phantom
so many
niggles?
years, phantom injuries,
Phantom niggles.
phantom injuries, suddenly,
Sore throat.
suddenly, oh my God, my quad. Oh my God, there's
calf.
something really wrong. Oh my
My
God,
calf.
my ankle. Now, I remember going into a race, my mom would be there to watch my race, and I'd say, oh my God, I've done something really, really horrible to my hamstring. And I'd be worrying about it for like 3 days going into the race, and she'd be so nervous. And then I'd race, and I'd have this great race, and I'd be so excited. And she'd say, oh my God, how was your hamstring? And I'm like, my
didn't
hamstring?
feel it
Oh,
most
I
of the
didn't even
time.
know about it.
Yeah.
So understand, sometimes there can be something real, but so often you're going to start feeling things that you didn't feel before. You're going to be sore in places you've never been sore before, and you're going to start worrying. Just know phantom niggles is a thing, okay? And don't worry about it.
And the phantom, like sore throat,
Yeah.
and even worse this at this day and age with what's going on. But I used to get like this weird sore throat, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting a sore throat, and then it'll be nothing.
Yeah.
So just keep your vitamin C and your
Just
greens
know that
and
that's normal.
Fluid.
You know,
Yeah.
and I used to say that the reason why these things come up is because your body, your soul knows that you need to conserve your energy so that you have enough on the weekend. So when we have a phantom niggle or we have a phantom sore throat, it gets us to to rest. It
Yeah,
gets us to relax.
100%.
And it ensures that we're going to have all the energy we need for race day.
Hey, and do you want to tell them that we're planning, because we are going to do a winter camp again?
Yes, we are.
So we're going to be very careful, but we're going to organise all the facilities and stuff as we can still do
January.
this. But January in the snow again, because it was so amazing last time. So stay tuned for our winter camp. Mary Cummer might be having her athletes come in for a day, and I'm going to invite mine too. I don't know if that's happening now or not with the travel stuff, but we are definitely doing a January camp.
The official Team Sirius Tri-Club camp
Will be January.
will be sometime in January. So if you all have a certain week in January that works best for you, let us know. And we'll try and work around.
Leapa's asking what phantom niggles are. We already talked about it. So a phantom niggle is just a fake injury that you think you have an injury and you don't have one. So we call it like a phantom. I used to call. Did I make that up?
I made that up.
A phantom niggle. It's called a phantom niggle because it's not real.
And it happens typically race week. When you're getting really nervous to race and suddenly things start hurting.
So the camp will be here, guys, in Longmont, in beautiful Colorado. So yes, and I'm praying that hopefully Nicole might be able to tell us there could be a vaccine by then, although I don't really want to take it until it's been trialed a little bit. But
actually, if there isn't a vaccine yet, we'll wait till February.
Yeah, we were going to wait till there was a vaccine. That was one thing I was going to say, because we just wanted to make sure that everyone's safe. So one time we did a camp a few years back and someone had a chest infection and infected the whole team. So we cannot have that happen.
We are very strict about that.
Yes.
Very strict.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially now. Guys, so any more questions?
Like phantom pain when the limb is missing. It's exactly what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, one more minute. We've got 1 minute to ask any more questions, you guys. But I think that was a really great live chat.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad there's races on for our Aussie guys. That's awesome.
Amazing. Good luck to those racing next weekend as well.
Yep.
Good luck to those that are working on becoming better at any aspect of your training, just working at getting fitter or enjoying it more, whatever it is. Good luck to all of you. We are so proud of all of you, and we're inspired by each and every one of you.
We love you guys. Yay. Yeah. Thank you for being on. And Dan, I loved your yoga tonight.
Yes,
thank you so
Dan.
much. Go back and watch the 4 o'clock yoga, guys. It's always saved in there, and he has the Zoom too, so it's a really good one. So make sure you guys go on there. Spouses allowed if they've been nowhere near being an athlete. So spouses can come watch if they're social distancing too. We don't want to have too many of them, but yes, sometimes we have like a spouse come and watch. It's just as long as they're not distracting the coaches, and we can't say yes to everyone bringing every single spouse, because that would make it a lot of people in one spot. So let's wait and see with COVID if we can have spouses on there. I don't want to kind of say yes to that and make it a bit more difficult for the campers, but
to be determined.
TBD.
We love you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Mel Mitchell.
Bye.
Hi there, Cam here again. I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget, until the end of September you can join up to the club for free. The link is in the show notes, or you can just go to teamsiriustriclub.com.